Giga Gorilla Studios coming at you live from the trees of India. And wouldn't you believe it? It's Everest. He's back, baby.
Oh my God, and the crowd goes wild. What's up?
Yeah, I
Happy to
mean,
be back.
yes,
Been too
finally,
long.
man. Had to get Connor to fill in for you the last time. We talked about some
I
Star
know,
Trek.
dude.
That was actually
Hey,
last week.
hopefully dude. Hey, I wish I could have been there for that episode. I had classes, but I love Star Trek '09, dude. That movie's sick.
It's a great movie. And
Yeah,
it's official 15th is actually next month, beginning of May, but we just knocked it out early. Last Friday was Star Trek Day, so that's when the episode was
Star
published.
Trek Day. Let's go. I need to keep watching Star Trek movies because most of the ones I've watched I've enjoyed, and I still have a couple that are like supposedly good according to the fan base. So
Yeah, I still need to watch Undiscovered Country. I still haven't gotten around
yeah,
to
I
it.
need to watch that one. I've never seen the original either, except like pieces that my dad showed me. But
Yeah, I've still never not seen the original. With the old one, I just started with Wrath of Khan. Just skip the original.
that's what I
Because
did too. Hey, Wrath of Khan is good though. I like Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan is good. Three's not bad. Voyage Home is sick. Then
I haven't seen three. Voyage Home is sick.
five is not good. I forget what it's called. Like I want to say Final Frontier, but I don't know if that's right.
That sounds right. Something like that.
Yeah, five sucks.
Yeah, I like Voyage Home a lot. I'll probably just skip five and watch six at some point.
You probably won't be
Well, we've
missing
done what we
anything.
always do and gotten off topic like 2 minutes into the episode. We're not actually talking about Star Trek today.
No,
Um,
but you can go listen to the episode from last week if you do want to hear me and Connor talk about Star Trek.
yeah, absolutely, and hopefully sometime in the semi near future we'll have all three of us on an episode together. Bringing Connor in to do some trivia with the gang.
Yeah, and we kind of discussed it last week, me and him, but we are kind of planning on bringing him back for an Amazing Spider-Man 2 10-year anniversary too. Hopefully you can be there for that one, Everest. Because
Dude, I
Connor's the
that
only
movie
person I
is
know that enjoys that movie. So I just want to have a deep dive conversation with him.
Yeah, that movie would be so interesting to go back and rewatch because I haven't seen it in years, and
Yeah,
I
I
I
haven't seen it
don't.
since 2014. I haven't seen it since like the first year it was out.
Yeah, I didn't see it in theaters. I think I watched it for the first time in like 2016. I
I
waited a bit, and
I didn't see it in theaters,
I
but I
think
did see it like as soon as it came home. Like I'm pretty sure my mom rented it
yeah,
from the Red Box for me, and I watched it at like
dude, Redbox.
even at that age, even at 14, I knew that was a bad movie. But
Yeah,
well,
and it's
the
like
bad movie in my eyes, at least. It's a bad
I
Spider-Man movie in my.
understand people who like it and think aspects of it are really, really cool because I do think there's some good parts of it. But I agree with you. As a Spider-Man movie, it didn't work for me when I saw it.
Even saying it's a bad
Um,
Spider-Man movie is kind of hard for me because like Spider-Man himself is kind of the best part of the movie. Everything else is my problem with it.
it's true.
It's
Yeah,
kind of that's kind of
I don't
both the
know.
movies, both the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Like Andrew Garfield was phenomenal, but
He's great.
he just
He's
got
great.
dealt a bad hand with those movies.
Yeah, the movies and just the story they gave him isn't that much to work with, in my opinion. But Andrew Garfield had easily the potential to be just like clearly the best Spider-Man ever. A lot of people still think he is, and I'm not gonna like argue with them because he's just so talented in everything he does. But yeah, the movies aren't my favorite.
Yeah, but well, here we are off topic again. This week is not about Spider-Man, but maybe
Yeah,
we'll have a future episode.
why are we coming from the trees of India? People are asking as we talk about Star Trek and Spider-Man and
India,
everything else under the sun.
what is happening in India? Well, a
What
new
is
movie came out
happening?
last week by the name of Monkey Man, directed and starring Dev Patel. He was just all over this movie.
He was all over it. One of the writers too, I'm pretty sure. So
And yeah, he's
just
just
a
this
Dev
basically is
Patel
his
vision.
baby.
Yeah,
And produced by Jordan Peele also.
that big name. That was one that I feel like most people who are at least kind of into movies, even if they weren't like super into it from just the like Dev Patel and watching the trailer when they see from the producer Jordan Peele, that creates intrigue because Jordan Peele's been one of the better filmmakers in recent eras. And so if he's attached to something, he probably has a lot of faith in it. Braden and I both saw the movie this past weekend, and we want to talk about it.
Yes, indeed. I thought it
But
was. I guess we'll start
oh well, Braden was
non-spoilers.
gonna go get right into it. Yeah, we can start non-spoilers. Joker 2 trailer also came out. If we want to touch on that
Okay,
real
yeah,
quick,
sure. Well, we'll
just
talk
because I
about the
know we both
Joker.
watched it.
We can just talk about the Joker 2 trailer real quick, and then we'll get into Mockingjay.
Yeah.
Joker 2.
Uh,
This is I feel like we have different views on this movie because the
mm,
musical aspect of it is kind of what I'm least looking forward to. Um,
yeah.
I know you're not like the musical aspect doesn't throw you. You kind of wish it was more of an original
I
musical.
Yeah, I feel like if they're gonna do a musical, I wish they would go like all in and like write original songs for it. I think it's a super weird and interesting choice to make it a musical. Um, I'm not like super pro or anti the idea. I just am kind of waiting to see what it actually looks like when it comes out. But it definitely was a surprise when I heard it was a musical. I generally like musicals when they're well done. From the trailer, it looks like they're taking it seriously and are gonna do a good job with it. Like, I think this is a good trailer. But I understand people who are really thrown off by the musical aspect. Maybe just don't like musicals in general as a genre. So I know you kind of fall more in that lane. But what did you think of the trailer?
Those aren't usually my cup of tea, but there are musicals I like. So I mean, I'm gonna see this movie. Obviously, it's Joker. This trailer definitely turned me more
Yeah.
onto the movie than I was before. The trailer got me more intrigued, to say the least. I was already intrigued because just hearing everything about this movie, I'm like, what is this movie going to be? And even after the
Hmm.
trailer, I'm still asking myself that, what is this movie going to be?
Yeah.
Um, it looks like much like the first one, we're not really gonna know what Trill and what's not, what's actually happening versus what's just in the Joker's head. Which I like that. I like that it's staying consistent with that theme, if that is the case. And throwing a
Yeah.
Harley in here, that makes sense. I feel like that's kind of what the route you needed to go and the route that made the most sense if you were gonna do a sequel. So that was
Hmm.
always an element of the movie that I was interested in. I don't love her look in the movie, but which we only saw her for a couple shots. Who knows if her look's gonna evolve any throughout? I don't just. I want her to look more clownish, to,
Yeah,
for
that's
lack of
fair.
a
We
better
only see her a
term.
couple times, and she looks pretty generic. Um, I think Joaquin Joker has a lot of cool looks in the trailer, though. Like his like white
Yes.
suit that he wears for a scene, and then just different getups for him look really cool. But I agree with you. I don't love Harley Quinn's look, although I think she's gonna fit pretty well into a movie like this, especially with Lady Gaga, who plays into the musical thing pretty well and has proven herself as an actress. I am curious to see what they do as far as towing the line between what's real and what's in his head. I assume a lot of the big, like, elaborate musical numbers, if they're going to have some of those, which it looks like they are from the trailer, there's a lot of really interesting and sort of dreamlike set pieces, I would say. I assume most of those will be in his head, but I'm wondering if there'll still be like some very real stuff too, or if essentially all of this is going to take place like while he's in prison.
I'm almost wondering if. Yeah, I'm almost wondering if Harley's going to be real or not. Because like obviously the trailer opens with her acknowledging Joker. So like is she real or is she a
Hmm.
figment of his imagination? That's what I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
I thought about that too, and
Because if she
I
is
mean,
real, which they can go the route of she's just as crazy as he is, and like we still
mhm.
don't know what's real, or they can essentially just confirm like the last movie happened. Because if she's acknowledging that all this happened and she's not as insane as he is, maybe it was real. Because that's still something that's up in the air from the last movie. I'm hoping she's just as insane as he is, and we still don't have clarification on anything because I think that just works.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the route I would prefer they go. I also think there's like a weird middle ground they could take because like I saw someone talking about in the trailer, it looks like Harley is like a psych patient, like in Arkham, as
Much.
opposed to
Oh, she's
the
a psych
psychiatrist.
patient. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, like the when it first shows her, like in the spotlight, kinda, when she's
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
sitting.
She's
Yeah.
like in there with people as opposed to like she would generally be a psychiatrist to like interact with Joker that way. So maybe it's like Harley is real, but the Joker's like perceiving her in a different way than she actually is. And so in that way they're kind of playing with reality. I don't know, and I kind of like that. I'm excited to see the movie and figure out what they're going for. But I think as a whole, it looks good, and I'm excited.
Yeah, there were a couple things that I noticed in the trailer. Like we were talking about this before we started the recording, but like when Joaquin, just Arthur Fleck, is getting chased by the Joker from the last movie. I wonder what that is. Like,
Yeah.
is that just someone posing as the Joker that's actually chasing him? Is that like a play on like his past coming back to haunt him or something along those
Hmm.
lines? I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
curious about that. And something else that caught my eye was the Hotel Arkham sign. So
Yes.
reference
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
Arkham. I
I
love
thought that
that.
was cool. Really cool shot. They're dancing on top of like a building, and you see the Hotel Arkham sign. Yeah, man. I'm excited. I wouldn't say I'm like all in on this being great or like living up to the first, especially since the first movie was like borderline my favorite movie of that year and just one of my favorite comic book movies. Um, but I think it looks really interesting, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping this one is just kind of more insane, chaotic fun than like
Yeah,
serious like the first one was because I'm hoping it offers something different for the people that like the first one isn't their cup of tea. Because I love the first one, but I get why it's not everyone's movie. Like not everyone wants this
I get it
real
too.
super serious drama.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, I would like if it's not more the same, I'm not going to complain at all.
I agree with you 100%. I also think the everyone's been talking about it, but the shot at the end where they line up the like lipstick on the glass with his smile is a
Yes,
super cool shot.
that's perfect. I'm like, that's one of those shots where I can't picture it being anyone but Joaquin. Like who? I don't know. He just sold that smile so well.
It so good. He's gonna be excellent again. I already know
Of
that. That's
course,
just
he's
what he
excellent in
does.
everything. He is.
Yeah,
He's both of our favorite actors, right? He's definitely mine.
yeah. He's probably my favorite actor. Just the body of work and his range to do different genres while always bringing a sense of like realness and usually brokenness. Joaquin isn't really known for playing happy-go-lucky characters. Um, I love him as Joker. I'm excited he's back, and I'm excited to see his dynamic and chemistry with Lady Gaga. But yeah, that's a shot that only Joaquin is nailing like that, and it just ended the trailer off perfectly.
That's great. I can't wait to see Joaquin back in this role. I just can't wait to see Joaquin again. And I think Lady Gaga, especially since it's musical, she's pretty much perfect casting for Harley. So I'm ready for the movie. I'm just ready to see what it's gonna be because I don't know if any of these trailers are really gonna explain that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one we kind of just gotta sit down and see. But with that said, I think we can move into the main topic of this episode, which is Monkey Man, as Braden said, directed, written, and starring Dev Patel.
Indeed. So this movie, from based on like everything I'd seen from this movie before I actually saw the movie, I assumed it was just gonna be like a basic revenge tale. And in a lot of ways it
Hmm.
is, but there's also like a Robin Hood aspect, like a person of the people to Dev Patel's character in this. And I wasn't expecting that, so it just kind of added another layer to his character and to the story.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't really expecting all of the different elements that this movie is infused with. On its surface, it is an action revenge thriller, and so I feel like for people who just want good action scenes and a shoot 'em up bang bang like fights and everything, it has that there for you, so you're not going to be disappointed. But at the same time, like Braden was talking about, it has this like becoming a symbol for people and marginalized groups and a sort of Robin Hood aspect and more emotional core, I guess, than I would expect from a movie like this that would just otherwise be a regular action thriller.
Yeah, definitely. There's like it's you follow the Dev Patel's character like the entire movie though. Like you don't really leave him through the flashbacks and current day. It's always with his character. You don't really go to another character like a lot of movies do. It is like
Hmm.
clearly it's Monkey Man. Like you are following who they call Monkey Man this entire movie, which I like that. Um, Yeah, I feel like it's something you don't see a lot of. Like I said, you usually have at least another character you're following, and it's kind of
Hmm.
rare that it's just like this one character throughout the whole movie. Of course, like his supporting cast kind of changes throughout the movie, like who he's around. Like he starts with the who who is that one guy? The one guy at the place he's working though, not the wrestling club, but the other place he goes to work. That guy is in
Oh
the
yeah.
movie, and he still
Hmm.
what was the car called? Sexy Boy or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it was a
remember.
yeah, it was a
I
little
know what you
silly.
mean though.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say without getting into spoilers. So if
Yeah,
you have
it's kind of tough to talk without getting into spoilers, but I think I would just say, um, I really like the movie. I think it's a cool, revenge thriller with, like we talked about, some more emotional and different aspects you're not totally used to seeing. I guess if I have any negatives that are kind of without spoiling it, this movie does feel a little bit longer than it actually is to me. Like I think there's parts in the middle where it tends to drag, but once you get through that and get into the third act, it's like nonstop, just great action, and I think you're fully dragged back into it. But I do think there's a certain point where it's a little bit slow and it drags a bit in the middle. That's my really only main complaint, but we can get into more as we talk spoilers.
yeah, I'd agree. I think the third act was great, and I agree with the middle sort of dragging. Like if I rewatch this movie, there's definitely probably gonna be some parts I kind of pull out my phone and I'm just kind of looking through, shooting some text to someone, playing a game, whatever I'm doing. But then like once it gets serious again, I'm putting that phone down. I'm watching. I'm invested. Of course, I was in theater though, so I couldn't check my phone. So I was just kind of like, yep, yep. I think it was paced pretty well overall though. I wasn't bored for too long.
Yeah,
So
I agree with it. I agree with that. There's not too much you're bored by, but I do think it struggles a little bit with structure and pacing. But for the first 30, 45 minutes and then the last 30 minutes, I was fully into it. So overall, it's paced really well.
yeah, it is so far we're only not even 4 months in yet, barely 3 months into the year, but so far it is my favorite movie of 2024. So far, that could change very soon.
Hey, okay.
But yeah, it
I
is.
think it's my second favorite of the year behind Doom 2. Um,
Okay, there
so
you go.
yeah, no, I liked it a lot. We both really enjoyed it. I guess we can just get into spoilers.
Yeah, let's get into spoilers. So,
All right.
I don't know if they showed this in the trailer about his mom being dead, because that's like
I don't.
that's the whole thing of the movie. That's why he wants revenge. It's extremely personal, and you see flashbacks of like how she died and everything, and I think that just added to the overall story of it.
Yeah. And they kind of piece the flashbacks together throughout the movie. It's not like you really get the whole picture in like one. It's like you get pieces and you understand like he was close with his mom. His mom's not around anymore, and then it's not really until he goes through like this spiritual thing like within him that we see the full story and get to understand it. Kind of right before the third act comes in and it just goes crazy.
Yeah, it showed his
And so I
hands
thought
a
that was
lot.
done well.
It showed the burnt hands a lot, and you were wondering like what happened there? What's the importance of his hands being all fucked up? And then
Hmm.
of course you see it's his mother on fire and him trying to desperately resuscitate her when he is just a child.
Yeah, which is absolutely like brutal. Like I'm not gonna lie, it got me like emotionally. I felt that. And I think like you said, it's because we follow this like removed like fighter that through the undergrounds of India with these burnt hands the whole movie, and we're like, why do we care about his hands? Like what happened? And then we finally find out, and it's something so like personal and emotional that goes into why he wants revenge. So I think that's a really cool element.
Yeah, and you really want this guy, well, everyone he's after, the main two guys especially, you want them to be 6 foot under. You want this guy to just murder them horrifically.
Yeah, yeah. It does a good job of making you hate the villains, which I think is something that um, every action movie like this needs to do if you're going to be killing people this violently. Because there are some pretty gory, brutal deaths in this movie. Um, not like the worst I've ever seen, but there's a couple that are pretty intense. Um, you can't have us like being afraid for the villains or like feeling bad for them, and this movie definitely doesn't do that. One thing I kind of liked as I was watching it is not only does the Monkey Man, Dev Patel's character, have an emotional like progression as he seeks revenge, and we learn more through this movie. He also has like a physical progression in terms of his fighting skill. Like towards the start, he's not actually that great of a fighter, and it's kind of interesting to see that he's like just doing this for money, and he's capable, but he's kind of getting his ass kicked a lot. And then he goes through like a reawakening and training and comes back and just kills everyone at the end,
Bro,
which
that
is
that
pretty
was
satisfying to
that
me.
was one of the better training montages I've seen in a while. Which I know you watch the Creed movies and stuff, so you probably seen
Yeah.
plenty of training montages that are badass. But like that was
Oh
probably
yeah.
the best training montage I've seen since maybe Batman v Superman when Ben Affleck is just working out in the
Yeah.
Batcave.
That's a good one too. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
the Creed
no,
movies have great training montages. I love this one though. It started happening. I was like, oh my god, it's a Rocky movie. Like
well,
it was so badass.
maybe not the best training montage I've seen since Batman v Superman, but at least in the theater because I can't
Yeah.
really recall another movie with a training montage that good I've seen in the theater between this and BVS. So I was like, it was almost nostalgic to me because it had been so long since I had seen that in the theater. I'm like, oh my god, I kind of miss seeing this. It's just badass seeing this dude work himself up to like just decimate these guys.
Yeah, and I love the cultural element of like the guy like playing the drum to him like training. That's something that I've never really seen before, and I thought it was a super interesting touch. Yeah, this movie got a killer training montage, but I kind of was expecting it to just start out with him being like this super feared fighter, I guess. Which I don't know,
That's
maybe
what
that was incorrect on my part.
That's what I was expecting
Um,
too. I don't know how much because I feel like John Wick kind of has a lot to do with that because like when you see an action trailer nowadays, you're like, oh, that looks like John Wick, but this, John Wick, but this, blah blah. And John Wick's just a
yeah,
super badass when you open up in the first John Wick movie. So I guess it's just kind of what you
yeah,
expect with
and
these
that
types of movies.
probably is the case. John Wick's been so influential on action since it came out. But it was cool to see him really struggling at the start, and then kind of grow into this just absolute demon towards the end, where he's just messing up literally everyone on his mission. Um, but yeah, I really enjoy the world building at the start too, like just kind of seeing how everything works in that world, especially as I'm a white guy from Michigan. Like, sorry, I'm not that familiar with India. I've never been, so to see Dev Patel's take on kind of his culture in that realm, sort of the underground and everything, was super interesting. Like I love the where they steal. I forget what they steal, but they have to take something to help him get a job. And so it shows them like relaying it through everybody to like um, escape the police or anything like that. I thought that was a cool scene.
Yeah, I did love that when he first confronts the guy that killed his mother. It's like the bathroom
Hmm.
scene. It reminded me a lot of Mission Impossible Fallout. That bathroom scene. It made me kind of want
Yes,
to
thank you.
made me want to go rewatch that scene. But yeah, that's
I
what it
thought of
reminded
that
me of.
too.
And I did love that like it was him acting more on emotion than like he wasn't like really thinking straight. He was just thinking with emotion. Like he just wanted vengeance for his mother. He wasn't going in like, oh, I can totally take this guy. Because he had a gun. He was just planning on shooting this guy. He wasn't expecting on getting in a full on fight with this man. But so he pulls a gun on
Yeah,
him and what does he say? Something from my mother, like condolences from my mother or something like
yeah,
that.
I think that's it. Or I don't know. And then the guy who killed his mom, or the bad guy, has like a rebuttal. He's like, I hope you fight like better than your mom fucked or something.
Yeah,
And
he
I
said
was
something
like,
like that. I
damn,
was like,
bro.
"Oh, hell no, bro! I want this man
I was
dead
like,
now!" Like,
oh, yeah, it's gonna get bad, and it does. That bathroom fight is great. It's like super brutal and kind of uncoordinated, which I love because, like you said, he wasn't really going in there expecting to get in a fist fight with him. So it's just this super raw, like smashing each other through stalls and mirrors. And I guess
I was
this is a good time to say I love pretty much all the action in this movie. It's not the best I've ever seen. It's not quite John Wick level or anything like that. But for like a lower budget thing like this, I think they really handled all the fight scenes well. It looks good and it's just badass.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know, dude. The bathroom scene was awesome. Like I said, he wasn't prepped for that, but like it added to that training montage later because he's like, okay, I wasn't ready. I gotta be ready. I gotta train myself up to this. And it was like the whole tribe there, like instilling strength into him and belief into him and giving him the belief that he can do this thing. And then he does the same back for them when he sends them that note. And he's like, it's time for you to
Sends them the
remember who you
note.
are.
Remember who you are, which is so Lion King coded, and I love that. Like that's literally a line in the Lion King. Um, and yeah, just going into like everything with that tribe. At first, I didn't really know what to expect. When the movie kind of shifts, like Dev Patel gets like beaten up really bad, should probably die.
Bro, I was wondering how
If it
much
was
of that
real.
dude's strength was like in the bathroom scene. I was wondering how much of his strength was from all that coke he did. Like how much of the strength is just him and how much of the strength is the drugs?
Is the drug. Yeah,
That
dude
dude
was
probably could have
dude
got
was
shot a couple times and he would have kept going.
yeah, he was coked up. But yeah, I wasn't really sure once he like falls into the river and we find out he got picked up by this tribe, like where it was going. But honestly, the stuff between him and them became some of my favorite parts of this movie, and I think it's really interesting to see. Um, there's some commentary on like LGBT communities and like even like transgender commentary hidden within that stuff, which is super unique to see in an action movie like this. Like I would have never expected it. Um, and then to have them fight with him at the end in the third act is so incredibly cool.
Yeah, yeah. I liked just throughout the movie. There's a lot of commentary just on humanity, like your humanity, and
Hmm.
that's the best thing about the movie. It explores that and it doesn't let up. Like the underground stuff when he's working in the underground, he is getting paid to basically get the shit kicked out of him. The guy is like, you gotta, like, I want to see blood. I want to see you bleed. They want to see you bleed. That's the only way you're gonna get the full
Hmm.
price. You only get half. You didn't bleed enough. And like, there's only so
Yeah.
much kicking a person can take before they revolt, before they rebel, before they get pissed. And like, once he does all that training, he goes back to the underground. He's just like, I'm sick of
Oh
this
my
shit.
god, he goes back and he knocks out his opponent in one kick, and
Oh
the
my
guy's like,
god, the crowd is
"No!"
silenced,
The crowd is stunned.
and they're like, "Oh!" They start cheering. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and they
yes.
bring out because the guy brings out the like big giant guy and
Oh, yeah.
says, "Mess him up, like kill him for me," and he can't, and then the crowd loves him, starts
Yeah,
cheering
bro,
for
he
Monkey
can't he
Man.
can't do it with just his fist. They pass this like bat with like nails and barbed wire around it, whatever it was. And
Yeah,
yeah, like, he can't get a swing in on with that. And then Monkey Man picks that up. Like he could just deliver a fatal blow right there if he wanted to. He just drops it. He's like, "No, I'm too good for this." And yeah, the crowd just starts chanting Monkey Man, and Monkey Man is like top of the underground now. So that Booker sucks for him.
dude, that Booker ate his words. Um,
I love that though. That
but
was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and that's what prompts him to like he feels confident and he sends the note back to the tribe, and then it's like, okay, let's go, because stuff's about to go down.
Oh yes, dude.
Um,
Oh, just like from when he goes back to the underground and like lays out those two guys on, it's peak cinema.
it is peak cinema, and the film. I mean, just aside from the action and like the story, which is really good, it looks great too for an action movie. Like not John, like even some of the later John Wick stuff, I think had crazy cinematography action wise, but I was just constantly impressed at how good this movie looked. I think it's directed really well. Dev Patel is clearly super talented. I've known he's a good actor for a while. He was in Slumdog Millionaire when he was younger, way younger, um, which is a movie I like, even though it should not have won Best Picture. Um, and so to see just his evolution and him finally get to have kind of an opus like this, where it's his vision and it comes together and is as good as it is super cool to me because I'm a big Dev Patel fan. I didn't know he would be as good as a director as he is, given this movie though.
Yeah, I agree. Is this the first thing he's directed?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good first time director. I guess I don't know how like all that works. Like if you've been an actor for so long, I guess you understand the way like actors need to move on camera because you've been doing it for so long. So maybe that in hand helps you with directing because like Ben Affleck was great his first time directing too.
Yeah. I do. We do see a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of actors who try to direct stuff, and it's terrible too.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you have, I think, like the mind for it, and you've been around great directors and have seen that, like Dev Patel worked with Danny Boyle, Ben Affleck worked with countless great directors in his career. Even like Michael B. Jordan directed the last Creed movie, Creed 3, and although I don't think it was as good as maybe like the first one, um, it's really well directed and it ended up being really good. And so I think there's a piece of that for sure. Like when you're around directing and you see it, it's a little bit easier to transition. But I think he does a great job here. Some of the shots in this are just really cool. I like the use of the lighting and everything. But the main point is obviously the themes and the action and the fight sequences. Which I saw an interesting anecdote on the movie that Dev Patel broke one of his hands like pretty early on into filming, and because the budget was so low, they were on a schedule, and so they had to redo a lot of the choreography to be like mostly one sided for him, so that he could do it with a broken hand, which is super interesting.
That is interesting. I like the whole it was like a very small plot detail, but the little subplot with him feeding the dog every night. I love that. It just shows like
Yes.
his
Oh,
heart.
it was yeah, it's a great way to show that he's a good guy. I love when a dog is in a movie and doesn't die. That's
Dude,
like
I
my
was so
favorite thing.
scared that dog was gonna die when that stuff was happening. I'm like, no, the bad guy's gonna kill this dog later on. Like, is he gonna be feeding it and then they just shoot it or something? But no, that never happens. I'm like, thank God the dog lived. Yes.
Yeah. That was thank you for mentioning that. I totally forgot, but I do really like that plot line too. And then yeah, just the I loved how in some ways the final like battles, like final action sequences is a little like Raid or Dread esque with them like going up this building floor by floor and having to fight people on each level.
It
It's
did feel
traditional for
very
an
Raid
action movie
esque.
like this, but it worked. It worked really well.
Yeah, and what like he takes out everyone that's just a goonie of the two main bad guys, the guy that killed his mom, and then like the leader of the whole thing. I don't remember his name, but he was
I
like
don't remember
he like
either.
had his own religion or whatever. People like worship this guy for some reason. But that
Hmm.
guy and yeah, Dev Patel just takes out all them. Then like actual trained warriors come in, and that's where the tribe that he sent the note to finally comes in. And it's like, oh, okay, the showdown's about to go on. And Dev Patel's like, they got this, and he goes in the elevator to the VIP lounge, and that's where he finally gets his vengeance on the man that killed his mother. Oh, it was
Yeah,
so
which
sweet to see.
was great. I love when he's like yelling at him to get up, like he's offended, like he just beat this guy like to within an inch of his life, and he's like offended that he won't get up so he can fight him more. Yeah, that last fight is great. It does everything a good revenge thriller, revenge action movie should do, while adding some really interesting pieces. Even the stuff with the leader of like the religion or whatever was sort of unique and showed off India and just how different cultural dynamics work there. So yeah, I think this movie is just a really cool blend of thick ass action sequences and uh, emotional slash like interesting cultural pieces. But yeah,
Yeah, that like the end scene with the religion leader guy, it threw me a bit because like when he just pulled out like that piece of the sandal or whatever with with the knife slash pin, whatever the sharp object in it, and stabbed Dave Patel. I was like, wait a minute, is he about to kill Dave Patel? Is he about to kill Dave Patel and just get away? But no, that's of course
Hmm.
not what happened. Well, I guess.
Yeah,
Well, does Dev Patel die? I guess we end on a like it ends with
I was
him
gonna
on the
mention.
floor, but we
Yeah,
don't know if he's actually dead or not. Like he could have just passed
we
out.
don't know. We don't know if he's dead or not. I think the implication is probably that he dies because he accomplished his mission. He got his revenge, and also realistically, he'd probably go to prison for like ever for all of that.
Yeah, it's probably better that he's
Um,
dead.
so I kind of took it as he died, but I'm glad he killed the leader first.
Yeah,
Um,
he like gets stabbed, and then he goes to stab him with the other one, and he puts his hand up, and he stabs him through the hand. But of course,
oh my god, that was sick. Also the kill when he's in the elevator and he uses his mouth to like grab, he bites the knife and
oh
finishes the guy
yes,
off.
I was like,
Crazy
oh
kill.
no, bro.
That was crazy. Um, there's some creative deaths in this movie. Again, not on the level of John Wick, but I kind of hate comparing every action thing to John Wick at this point because I do think John Wick is just the absolute pinnacle of film action, along with like the Raid. The Raid is also insane. Um,
I mean, in
but
terms of American-made stuff, though, John Wick is definitely the pinnacle, especially of today's.
yeah, for sure. But I do think Monkey Man has a lot of good action sequences, and I think Dev Patel really sells the slight emotional beats here too. I mean, I go back to like even in the training montage, there's a moment where he lets one of the tribe members get on the punching bag, and he holds it for them, and he looks like genuinely happy to be there and be training with them. God, so cool.
It was a good movie, and I see myself watching it again in the future.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. I want to show it to my mom because I think she'd really appreciate some of the like other stuff we've talked about, but I don't know if she's gonna sit through that violence of a movie because it doesn't skimp on the violence
Yeah, I
at
might show it to
all.
my dad, like if it's on streaming or something when I'm in sometime. I might show it to my dad. I'm sure my dad would enjoy it.
My dad would probably like it a lot too. Yeah, it's a good movie. I'm happy I saw it. And Jordan Peele, good on him for spotting this one and believing in it because I just think it rips. Like we said, it's not a perfect movie. It does follow some action movie cliches and it does drag for a little bit at times, but overall super solid. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, same. And I'm happy I saw it in the theater because for a while I wasn't sure if I was going to see this in the theater or not, but I decided to. And I'm glad I did.
Hey, AMCA was coming in clutch, baby.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I am so happy I got that out here in Boston because I don't have AMC's where I'm from back home. Small town, just the closest one is like hours away. It has made seeing movies so much easier. I mean, obviously you still have the monthly subscription, but like three free movies a week with the subscription is so worth it. Like it's crazy.
Definitely. Like one movie is almost worth it with the subscription. So I mean,
One movie is
if
almost
you see
worth
at
it.
least two movies a month, you are getting your money's worth plus some.
Yeah, which is crazy. It also just goes to show that regular AMC movies are too expensive right
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
You're like $17
but
for a ticket, bro. That's yeah, so Godzilla Kong would have been like $18 for one ticket. And I'm like, what?
I haven't seen it yet. Was it good? Did you like it?
I enjoyed it. If you like the first
Okay,
one, I think you'll like this one.
okay. I do like the first one, so I'll probably see it at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. I
Yeah,
did
you
see
should.
Civil War super recent. Like it was like an early screening here at our theater. Civil War is good. It
I might see that this weekend.
it's a little less like it's not very political at all, which I would have expected it to go into more if it is like based on the title and everything. It's kind of just a more standard war movie, but it does take place from the perspective of like more journalists and like the press during a war, which is an interesting take. Um, so I liked it. I'd be curious your thoughts on it, but yeah, Monkey Man was good. I hope Jordan. When is Jordan Peele? Do we know when his next directed movie is coming out? Because Nope was 2022 now. So
What? Did they announce what his next movie is?
I
Or has
don't
he
know.
announced
I
it?
should
Jordan
probably look that up.
Peele. I'm
But
looking it up right now. Jordan Peele
look it
next movie.
though, because
Oh,
as I
whoa.
said
Jordan,
before,
this is according to IMDb. Wait, I don't know how official this is or if this has been changed. Jordan Peele's next movie set for Christmas 2024 release? Doesn't sound right. I figure we know about that if it was this year. Jordan Peele has
um,
set a Christmas 2024 release of his next film, the horror auteur fourth feature-length film or length picture will arrive on December 25th. Wait, so it's supposed to arrive on Christmas Day? No, that can't be right.
oh, probably not right. But either way, whenever that comes out, I'll probably be watching it.
Oh, I see.
Um,
As of December 22nd of last year, Jordan Peele's next movie pulled from 2024 release calendar. So maybe it'll be next year. 2025, maybe?
Next year. Yeah, that would make sense. I think I remember him like saying in an interview that after like the success he's had so far, he doesn't want to rush anything going forward in his career because he doesn't really have to. And he wants to make sure all the stuff he puts out is good. Which I haven't seen Us yet, but I really love Get Out and Nope. So
That's just my least favorite of his films, but I still like it enough. Like, I do need to rewatch
yeah,
it. I don't know if I'd enjoy it more or less on rewatch, but I don't know. I'm sure there's probably things I missed watching it the first time, so I
yeah.
might actually enjoy it more.
But yeah, glad he signed on to put his name on Monkey Man because I bet it's resulting in some more people seeing it. And Monkey Man is great.
Probably
Uh,
so, because I mentioned that I was seeing this movie to some coworkers, and they asked about it. I was like, "Yeah, it's Dev Patel directed, Dev Patel, uh, starring Dev Patel, and produced by Jordan Peele." And they had no idea who Dev Patel was, but they knew Jordan Peele. So,
dude, I swear it's just blatant racism that Dev Patel isn't a bigger star than he is because he had early success. He's a talented actor. He's conventionally attractive. Like it just doesn't make sense to me that he's as like he's not that well known. But I understand it. He hasn't really been in that much that's been big. But hopefully this is kind of a breakout for him and he can continue doing cool stuff because I love him. I think the guy's awesome.
hopefully, he deserves it, especially at this point.
Yeah. But I think that's gonna do it for this edition of Giggly Gorillas. Hopefully we'll be back sooner rather than later.
Hopefully so, but for now, we're going back into hibernation.
Going into hibernation.